What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Anything Liverpool live stream before our match against Eintracht Frankfurt in the Deutsche Bank Park in Matchday 3 of the Champions League. Welcome to my panel mates. I have Ben, Connor, and Deck with us today. So what we're going to do today is we've obviously just seen the lineups and the big news of the lineup. We'll get into it now as well shortly, with certain talisman players being dropped, and some might agree, some might not agree with it. I'd imagine a vast majority of us do agree with it, however. But we're going to get into everything, and we'll introduce panel mates first and sort of gauge our thoughts on it. Don't worry, everybody, we will finish the stream about 15 minutes before the game, because I'm sure there's plenty of us, myself included, that want to get down to the pub and get a pint in front of us before this game starts. But to the unlucky ones that aren't in Frankfurt currently at the moment, not already in a pub enjoying themselves, I know there's a couple of the Anything Liverpool guys already over there. But nonetheless, Deck, I'll start with yourself first.
Stephen.
You were a little bit, shall we say, I guess the polite way to describe it was animated after the loss to United over the weekend through dubious circumstances, in my own opinion, because that first goal shouldn't have counted. But seeing the lineup today and the drastic change that has taken place, what are your thoughts on today? Do you feel any more confident, considering Slot has dropped Salah, for lack of a better term, and how do you feel that we're going to line up now?
Yeah, I think we're gonna line up well. I think Curtis Jones is fantastic in the midfield for us. I think he's a great option to have. But to touch on what you said about Salah, Stephen, I think it's not necessarily that I think we'll be better that he's been dropped. I just think the form of Salah just isn't there anyway. So whether whoever comes in to quote unquote replace Salah on that right hand side, whether they have a good or bad game, it's just Mo Salah needs that time, and regardless, I think, he's just So I think we'll line up well. I think whoever does play on that right, whether it's Hugo Ekitike, whether he decides to play Ekitike and Isak as a two up front, like I said before earlier on, I think he might play. Could we see Szoboszlai right back? Is Frimpong gonna play in that? So it's a different squad, but it's needed. We've tried everything else, haven't we? And tonight for me is a must win.
Yeah, according to FootMob, and it looks like as well, I'm going to look on SofaScore as well, it looks like it's going to be Isak up top by himself. It's going to be Ekitike on the right wing, and it's going to be Cody Gakpo on the left wing. And then you have Florian Wirtz sat behind them three. That's a very big front line. All of them guys are 6'4" and taller. So that's you'd hope we might as well fucking score from a set piece today if there was ever a time to do it. Connor, I'm going to come to you next. Same question that I gave Deck. How are you feeling considering the changes? Obviously, we see Milos Kerkez dropped. Mohamed Salah has been dropped as well. Curtis Jones has come into the midfield for the injured Ryan Gravenberch, who just twisted his ankle in the Man United game over the weekend. How are you feeling towards today's fixture? Are you more confident seeing the lineup, or are you less confident seeing the lineup?
I'm happy with seeing the lineup with the people that we got in there, and I think regardless of the form, I think it would have been the plan this season that we would have this rotation at the start of the season, early Champions League, in the League Cup, to give these minutes to people like Robertson, who, for me, like bringing him in today, especially with the minutes that he hasn't been getting, I don't think it is a drop from Kerkez, especially recent form, because last season Robertson's only fault, I suppose, was his legs as the season went on. Salah being dropped, I believe that it doesn't harm anyone. It doesn't harm the team. It doesn't harm him. Slot can turn around and say that he was always going to miss certain games throughout the season to just rest him a little bit. And I believe Salah is one of those players where if you take him out the team, it'll make him want to push even harder to try to get back into there. He's got the mentality. He's not going to sit on the bench and sulk about it. Even if he does come on today, he'll come on and he'll try and probably give that extra 10%, because he is not someone that wants to be sat on the bench any game, even if it's first round League Cup or FA Cup against someone in League Two. Like, he does not want to be on the bench. So I think this is only going to do only going to do good for the team.
No, I completely agree with you. a motivated Mohamed Salah is a scary prospect for any defence that has to face him, in my opinion. I'd absolutely agree with that, Connor. Dec, to your point of Szoboszlai at right back and Frimpong at a right mid, SofaScore have it as a 4-4-2 with Cody Gakpo as a left midfielder, Frimpong as a right midfielder, and a midfield duo of Curtis Jones and Florian Wirtz.
Yep.
Now, this is obviously just what it comes up as on paper with Isak and Ekitike up front.
I think that's fantastic. That I genuinely do. Sorry to interrupt you, Stephen. I don't want to cut you off there, mate.
Okay.
But I do think that if it's Ekitike and it's Alexander Isak as a 2, I think Liverpool now need to not just because we haven't got Jurgen Klopp there, and I don't want to keep bringing Jurgen Klopp into it because let's be honest, it's not a case of it's Arne Slot's team and stuff like that. It's just the 4-3-3 style, the right wing of Salah, and Salah has to play right wing, and we have to have a left winger and a number 9. That's Mane, Bobby, and Salah. That's not how necessarily you have to line up. If we play Isak and Ekitike up front as a 2. What have we got to lose, really? They can play together as a 2, and then you look into the midfield, and whether it's a Cody Gakpo or a Mo Salah, you can just bring in the likes of a Curtis Jones or a Florian Wirtz. We don't necessarily have to have a quote unquote right mid or a left midfielder or right wing or left winger, if that makes sense. And I think we can do that, and we can play Ekitike and Isak as a 2. I think that's a very, very good lineup. I think that is a good lineup.
Yeah, I see. I can see the vision behind it. I don't know about Szoboszlai at the right wing or the right back, because if it's kind of nitpicking at this, but it's more just where do we get sort of. I'm looking at it. I'm finding it hard to disagree with it. I won't lie, because what it sounds like it might be.
That's what I mean.
Is Florian Wirtz may go and sit behind the front 2, and then Jones will sit a little bit deeper and sort of play that back role. Allow them to get up the pitch. It'll be interesting. I'm going to come to you now and sort of finish off this first round of take on the lineup. Now, this was that lineup from SofaScore, and I'm going to show you now the line up. I feel it will probably be more of this, and I think this right-hand side here of Ekitike and Frimpong is going to havoc, because they're both absolutely demons at trying to dribble. That's the way that I look at that as well. I think if you have that right-hand side and you have Robertson overlapping and underlapping Gakpo the other side, Isak could be on for an awful lot of chances today. But Ben, what do you feel about the lineup? Are you more confident in this lineup, or are you less confident than you were before going into the game against United on Sunday?
Well, I'm naturally more confident because Frankfurt are only up for like United are, because it's a rivalry there. But I'm surprised Chiesa isn't getting a go or something, to be honest. Thought if Salah was to be dropped, it would be for Chiesa, to be honest. But overall, I think I like the lineup because we should be scoring a lot of goals. There's obviously going to be concerns defensively, but no, so we are in it.
Yeah, I'm just going to stop sharing that now, just so that we can have a look at a couple of the comments here from everybody. But before we do that, I'm going to ask everybody to make sure that you haven't done so already. Make sure to like and subscribe. We'd very much appreciate it. Make sure that you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos as well, so that you never miss out. We will be live again on Friday before we go for the sort of pre-match stream before Brentford on the late kickoff, and we'll have a late stream on Saturday at 10 p.m. UK time for anybody that's still up and hasn't drowned their sorrows when Kelleher get bags a hat-trick against us, because that's just the way our luck is going at the moment. But make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you're currently watching on Twitter, jump down into the comments below. You will see a link straight over to our YouTube page as well. And make sure, leave a comment, like, subscribe. We're going to go through a couple of the comments now. So, Connor, one of the questions here is from Berge, where he asks, will it be a 4-3-3? And I'm not sure how you would set that up as a 4-3-3. Maybe as Jones or Szoboszlai as the DM, and then you would have the opposite of such as the 8, and then Florian Wirtz as the other 8. Considering that's kind of the half space he played in at Leverkusen to a degree, Connor. And then you'd have your front 3 of Gakpo, Isak, and Ekitike. you'd probably nearly need to put Ekitike in the middle there to be like your false line 9, like Bobby Firmino was. Do you think that's a 4-3-3 lineup, or do you think it's your 4-4-2, or do you think it's your 4-2-3-1?
I think it is a 4-3-3, but it's more what I would like. And you refer back to the Firmino role, like playing Wirtz in behind, in the pocket. I think with the team that we've got right now, like you're saying, like Ekitike is playing on the right, but he's supposed to be coming in as like a two-man striker. And you would think that naturally we would want to play that 4-4-2, playing two up there and just... So I believe that depending on what side we're working on, Ekitike pushes up, tucks in, Frimpong then follows, and then it'll be like Jones tucking in, and then follow then the same thing on the left side. Hopefully Gakpo goes up, tucks in, Robertson goes up, and then you'd have Szoboszlai like tucking in, just as a little bit of, and then you've got literally Wirtz in the pocket. Obviously Isak up top. So for me, it is a 4-3-3 with that swing around the fullbacks and the wingers.
Yeah, it's, to be honest, it's kind of all thrown us for a loop, Deck, hasn't it? Is this going to be, what sort of a format? Is it 4-4-2? Is it 4-2-3-1? We even have Dr. OD, great name. I'm thinking it's a 4-1-3-2 with Robbo and Frimpong holding the width. Yeah, I could see that as well. There's an awful lot of kind of options that you can have here. Is there, like, looking at both what the SofaScore said and FootMob has said, are you sticking to your 4-4-2, or do you think anybody else has convinced you otherwise?
That comment there, the 4-1-3-2, I think that'd be brilliant. That 4-1-3-2. Let's not forget, Gravenberch hopefully comes back into this team at some point, and he can be that defensive midfielder. He can do that role. So a 4-1-3-2, Ekitike, Isak up top. You'd have Frimpong and Robbo just covering, obviously, the centre backs, and then you have like a Szoboszlai, Kurt Jones, a Florian Wirtz in that midfield three. Like I said, I'm all for the whole two strikers. I think we try it. Whether you want 4-1-3-2, 4-4-2, two strikers. I think we need to come away from this traditional Liverpool play a 4-3-3 attack all the time, and you have them right wing, left wing, full backs bombing forward. We haven't got a Trent Alexander-Arnold or a Andy Robbo like that. Andy Robbo's still there, but Kirkes needs to learn that role. It's just try a different formation. For me, I think you go for the two up top. So 4-4-2, 4-1-3-2, however you want to put it. But that comment was a great comment, because that's another way you can look into it.
To be honest, I don't think there's going to be a set formation, because I think it's going to line up on paper in one way, and then all of a sudden it's just going to be completely...
It depends how Frankfurt play.
Yeah, because just even looking at the lineup with Frankfurt, I'm not going to lie, that, and I say this now, touch wood, that front line really doesn't, shall I say, worry me. I would have been very worried if they had Burkhardt and Can Uzun, that guy that was there, because they're just scoring.
Is this the Turkish guy they have?
Which is this?
They replaced Ekitike and Omar Marmoush quite well,
Yeah, it's the two guys that I just mentioned. They're both on the bench for Frankfurt, which shocked me.
Right.
Because Uzun has kind of taken over the Marmoush role and just gotten silly amount of goals and assists for fun, while also massively overperforming as expected. And then Burkhardt is actually somebody I wanted as our backup striker other than Ekitike. I wanted Ekitike, Burkhardt, or Nick Voltemade as my sort of top three strikers, and I got laughed at for it. And
I think
two
we
of them
have to
are in
kill
the
them
Premier
early.
League, and one of them is absolutely bossing it. Like,
I think we have to kill them early, Stephen. I think maybe they're looking at Liverpool at the moment and know that if they bring them players on, 60 minutes in, half an hour to go, and they bring them players on, and let's say it's 1-0 to us or 1-1, they will feel that they will go and kill the game, because in the second half of games, we haven't been the best. Whether we have a lethargic first half and then we get a goal and we bring it back up, we go 1-0 up, we always somehow have been conceding. So maybe they're looking at that and thinking, well, you know what, Liverpool have been a bit laggy lately. Half an hour to go, and then we're not the Liverpool league where you go and score last minute winners, even though we have been and we fight till the end. It hasn't been like that. So maybe that's the manager's thinking for Frankfurt. You bring on them young attacking talents that they've recently brought into the football club to just try and just to kill the game off. It could be something like that. You're never gonna know, are you?
Ben, we have a comment here from Shaban mentioning that he's just seen the lineups. We concede the first goal.
See,
Do you like? First of all, get that sort of negativity out of this fucking chat. Second of all, Ben, would you hold a similar opinion that we may still be suspect at the back? And do you feel that Frankfurt will be threatening on the front foot, or is this going to be much more of an open game than what a lot may be expecting?
It's going to be a very open game because Frankfurt aren't good defensively, like us. They concede loads as well.
Yeah, good point, Ben.
But we don't exactly have a defensive-minded player, bar Van Dijk and Konate. So yeah, it's gonna be very basketball-esque tonight, I think.
To be honest, I think that kind of a style suits both fullbacks, because if it's an open game where you're getting up and down, there's no better two fullbacks to have there than Jeremy Frimpong and Andy Robertson. In fairness, realistically, if you want two guys to hold width, they're probably the best ones to do it, Ben. Really.
Yeah, probably. Especially Frimpong. I liked his cameo against United when he came on. He offered a lot more than Bradley did. Bradley's been poor, so I'm glad Frimpong's starting. He should be starting more, to be honest. But
yeah, I completely agree with you. I think Frimpong should be starting more, and that hurts me to say, as Conor Bradley's a fellow countryman of mine. But it's just it just is it. The way that I look at it at the moment is you need to play the hot hand, which is why, and as well, something that I've noticed about this as well. I said this all last season before I even met before I even met you guys as well. Isak cannot play with Mohamed Salah. The two of them cannot coexist because they both don't press. And when that happens, you're then pressing with 8 men and you get absolutely ran through. Happened at Chelsea, happened at United. The press is non-existent from the front three when it's the two of them playing. And it was the same situation last season because we let Salah cheat so much and just sit on the halfway line, and we defended with 10 men. And then the second we win the ball back, it's long ball to him straight away, goal. And that was the exact same thing of how Newcastle did last season, because both Anthony Gordon, Jacob Murphy, and Barnes as well. Is it Harvey Barnes? No, it's not. It's it is Harvey Barnes.
Plus that midfield.
And that midfield were doing all of his running, which just. And Shaban, it is negativity. Unfortunately, we are speaking realistically, and it's not accepting the situation. We're Liverpool Football Club. We're not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, we're going to concede first. So no, it is negativity. A couple of other questions that have come in here. Connor, is this a must win? I would argue it is.
100%. 100%. I think it's as simple as that. Like you don't play this game and go in thinking that there's even a slight chance of you losing this one. We've looked at the team. Even if you took out another 3 or 4 of our players there and slotted in, some bench players, we should still be easily winning these games. This is a game where we should rest players and still smash 3, 4, 5 goals. So, yeah, simple as that.
Absolutely. Deck,
yeah.
Is there I had a question there in my head and I'm trying to sort of think about it. What was the best way to sort of look at this? Just to touch on Shaban's point, speaking realistically, Liverpool, yes, have conceded 6 goals in their last 3 games. Well, 7 goals in their last 4 games. It is concerning to a degree, but as Connor said as well, you look at that lineup, and Arne Slot said it as well, when you put on a Liverpool shirt, you're expected to go out and win the game.
Mm-hmm.
Is this a must-win for you as well to sort of kickstart us out of this slump?
Yeah, definitely a must-win for me. I think if you drop points tonight, you go into Brentford away on the weekend, it's going to be tough. I think you win this and you go in, you get the ball rolling in the Premier League and you beat Brentford. I've seen some people say, well, get the draw tonight. You sort of you plug that hole of losses, stop that, and then you build upon it on the weekend, and you go and get the win at Brentford. But for me, I think like Connor said there, we should be able to rest players. You know, we expect this rotation at the start of the season when you see the squad that we have. Anyway, regardless of injuries, regardless of form, you should be able to see the rotation and respect it regardless, and still go and beat Frankfurt.
Yeah, I'm just looking at one of the comments here as well now, and Kafka here mentioning just the last line of it is just, we need a Camavinga or Baleba Salah replacement and a few defenders. I mean, we just went and signed 7 players this summer, and we can see how slow it takes for that team to get started. So I can guarantee you that's never happening again. But just looking at this here, I just seen somebody post in one of the group chats. Alexander Isak to get a hat-trick against Frankfurt. He put a £5 on and he's getting 95 quid back.
That's all right. That's all right. Let him have it. Let him have it.
If he scores a hat-trick, I'll give him 100 quid myself.
Yeah. Just get the win, lads. Just get the win.
I couldn't get 3 points. At this point of the season, 3 points is all that matters. And I really don't care where we finish in the top 8 of the Champions League, as long as we finish in the top 8 of the Champions League. I do without those extra 2 games. It just is almost deja vu looking at what happened PSG the first half of last season as opposed to the second half of last season. The only thing I would say is that we can't drop too many more points in the league. Arsenal are going to hit blips. Every team is going to hit a blip this season. So if we're to quote the Arsenal fans themselves, I'd rather be 6 points behind Arsenal than 6 points ahead of Man City. That's just the way that I look at it. And realistically, I do, because Arsenal are not creating anything outside of their set pieces. And like, they scored, I think they got 4 goals yesterday against Atletico Madrid, and they generated about 1.7 XG from open play. So that just, it's mental to consider. I've never thought I'd see a team make a 4-0 win boring, but they have. And I've never usually fallen asleep during a football game, but I have against watching Arsenal multiple times. Oh, right. I'm going to have a look through and do a couple of comments here and see if there's anything else. If you have any opinions at all, you want to throw them in, you want to call us all idiots and think that we're all wrong, feel free to throw them into the comments and we'll absolutely eviscerate you. But that is the way that we're going to look at it. But before we move on to a couple of last topics before we finish up in about 20 minutes time. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Make sure that you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos as well, so that you never miss out. So if you're watching on Twitter at the moment or X at the moment, jump down into the comments below. You will see a link straight to our YouTube page as well, where you can join in the conversation. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. We'd love to hear from everybody watching us today. But the next topic that I'm going to get on to is looking at that lineup, and I'll bring it up again for everybody. I want to sort of get everybody's thoughts, and I'll just use the FootMob one because it just seems to be easier. I'm going to get everybody's opinion on where they think the biggest matchup is going to be and where the sort of focus area on the pitch is going to be. Ben, I'm going to give it to you first with this one, and everybody in the comments can let me know as well. Where do you see the most important area that we need to focus on in this game? Is there a particular matchup that you're looking forward to? Is there a particular combination of our players or their players that you think we should focus on specifically? Or where do you think the key matchup is going to be in this game?
Midfield. I look at their midfield. Like ours, it looks very attacking. Doesn't look very defensive. But our players are better. And I think more energetic. So you'd like to think we should win that battle. I am excited to see that Bahoya versus Robertson. I think he'll toy with him a little bit. He's a very good player. I'd like to see Ekitike getting the better of Arthur Theet because he's not exactly a good player. I've watched him before and he's terrible.
Yeah, he was actually linked to us hilariously not long ago, as when everybody was going for that left-footed centre back that can play a left back role. He was one of the guys that was linked to us at the time. Dec, I'm going to throw the next question over to you. Where do you see the most important matchup across both teams? I would agree with Ben in that Ekitike and Frimpong down that right side, if that is how we line up.
Yeah, I think they are very attacking. But like you said, they've got a couple of good guys on the bench that they can bring on, as we mentioned earlier. Frimpong and Ekitike down that right-hand side is going to be massive. It'll be nice to see Ekitike on that side of the pitch as well, a bit of space over there. I'm not too sure about the left winger, but half a feet like Ben said, him against Hugo Ekitike, get the better of your man type of thing, cut inside, and with Frimpong behind him, just adding that pace as well. I think there's gonna be goals. Frankfurt concede a lot of goals notoriously, but also score a few, and Liverpool are the same sort of at the moment. We're conceding, but we are getting the odd goal here and there. But I just, maybe they can see down that right hand side with Frimpong behind him. Yeah.
I'd agree. Yeah, I would agree on that, because I just think with your right-footed left winger and a right-footed right winger, it just seems to me that it's get the ball to Isak and get the fuck out the way. It seems to be. It's the way this game is kind of going, especially with somebody like Frimpong that loves to get down that byline, loves to get to the end line, and loves to make cutbacks. I think both Ekitike and Isak will be in for a lot of chances today. I'm not sure how that defense is going to hold up. Frankfurt's defense, that is, with Thierry, Koch, Amenda, Christensen as well. Realistically, our front four of Gakpo, Wirtz, Ekitike, and Isak should be winning this game.
That's so attacking. It's so attacking, that team.
One player I'm very interested in on the Frankfurt side is somebody that I wanted for our midfield, which is Hugo Larsson. He's playing in there in the pivot. Very, very good player. He is essentially the Bundesliga Adam Wharton, is the way that I've watched him play. And I think that's going to be an interesting matchup in the midfield of Götze and Larsson against Szoboszlai and Jones. We'll see how that sort of matches up and how they sort of press and mark each other, because the passing range of that sort of four players is quite unique. Connor, where's the key matchup for you? Is there any particular 1v1, or is there a particular grouping of our players or their players where you feel the focus should be on?
So I think literally you banged it with Larsson, because for me the formation that you've got up there right now isn't necessarily how both teams are going to play, like fluid wise. And for me, not necessarily it's a 1v1, but I believe if Ekitike, Isak, and Gakpo give him space around the number 6 area and give him that time, I believe he's going to want to play them balls in between Frimpong and Konate, and in between Robertson and Van Dijk. I believe if you just go back to the game against Man United, like that ball that gets played through to Mbemo, like Van Dijk loves it when someone faces him up, because 1v1 he's very strong. But when someone makes a run in behind him, he seems to pass it half-assed past them on. So in that game, he passed him on to Konate, who was 5 yards off the pace. So I'm thinking it's going to be interesting to see how quickly we are with noticing these runs, in between the lines, and whether we give Larsson enough time to play them. Because I do think that I have no doubts about Ekitike. Looking at the games even when he's come on, he's given us so much energy, and that's where maybe Chiesa would have come in, and I would have liked that, because I know he'll run at the CDMs and the defense and will be a hassle. With Isak and maybe Gakpo, it worries me that Larsson will get the time to play those intricate passes, and that's where I think there's going to be a matchup.
Yeah, I wouldn't disagree with you there, which is why I think Isak needs to be on his game, or else Florian Wirtz needs to be on his game and pressing up there as well and covering for Isak. Even if Isak is going to be the guy that cheats, that other 3 that are behind him are going to need to really pick up the slack. But yeah, it's just, and Shaban, I'm not sure, but who are you dropping for Chiesa? I'd love to know that answer, because you have Alexander Isak, who's 30 million pounds. You have Hugo Ekitike, who's been our best forward so far, and you have Cody Gakpo that could have had 6 goals against United, who's banging for a goal, especially coming off international duty. So I'm not sure who you take off for Chiesa there. I think bringing on Chiesa and Salah at 60 to 65 to 70 minutes, like imagine your Koch or Thierry sat on that sort of left-hand side of theirs, right-hand side of ours. And you're like, oh, thank God, I don't have to deal with that absolute demon Ekitike and Frimpong anymore. And you're like, is that fucking Mohamed Salah about to come on to the pitch? Like, And then you have Chiesa that can go, excuse me, over to the left wing then and take Cody Gakpo off, or Gakpo can then move into the middle, or Ekitike can move into the middle. Salah and Chiesa come on, and you bring two of those front three off. This is why we signed these guys that can play multiple positions across the front three. PSG is the blueprint.
Yeah, it literally is. It literally is PSG.
That PSG front three is the blueprint. Every single person on that PSG front three can play left wing, central, and right wing, and play a false nine. That's why we got Wirtz. He can play 4 positions. That's why we got Ekitike. He can play the front 3 positions, even a second striker. Gakpo can play left wing and striker. Isak can sit on the left, and he can play as part of a front 2, or he can play off the left or the right. If you look at their heat maps from last season, they were everywhere. That's why we got these guys that can play multiple positions. I can guarantee a football in 5 years, there won't be positions. It'll just be roles, so to speak.
Yeah.
Gakpo hasn't been off. I don't know what games you're watching. Gakpo has been one of our best forwards the entire season, along with Hugo Ekitike. Yes, he can be frustrating and a little bit predictable at times, but if that ball bounced slightly differently against Man United, he has 4 goals.
Yeah. He's on a hat-trick, isn't he?
Even if he smacked a header in, he would have been on 5 goals because he scored 1.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how you can drop him when he's in that form that he was. He was a Rizzler paper away from bagging in 5 goals, basically. Okay, we're going to
stop as well, Stephen.
The which, sorry, Jack?
Said not to mention Rio Wengamo that we can bring on as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like, imagine all of a sudden you're like, who's this wee 17-year-old and this wee child?
He's absolutely
right. All of a sudden he's absolutely being a demon. Like,
yeah.
Oh, look, I don't get this negativity. I don't get it. Maybe it's just me, and maybe it's just like I lived through the Roy Hodgson era, and maybe a lot of these younger fans didn't do that. But when you have a Liverpool manager that says we're not too big for a relegation battle, you've lived through fucking wars. And I don't know how young everybody is watching us at the moment, but when Liverpool were in 19th place after 8 games in the Premier League, don't come fucking talking to me about having a rough time. Not a hope.
The pits.
Oh, the pits is right, Dick. There was times when I genuinely questioned, like, if you came through that era and you're still a fan of this football club, you would never, ever leave it. But we're going to move on now to some score predictions over the last sort of 15 minutes of it.
Okay.
I'm going to take a look at some man of the match performances as well and see who it will be. Ben, I'm going to come to you first. Can you give me your score prediction, who you feel will score and who you feel will be man of the match?
I can see it being 5-3 to who I don't know. But I think Ekitike and Isak will score. You'd think, you'd hope. Maybe, hopefully, Wirtz can go on at his familiar stomping grounds for him. So, yeah, I think Isak and Ekitike brace and Wirtz. And I don't know who's going to score for Frankfurt.
Yeah, I'd like to see Wirtz finally break the seal, so to speak, because I think all it's going to take is one. Because realistically, at this point, the kid could nearly have 10 assists, which is absolutely mad to say. Connor, I'm going to come to you next, and I'm going to ask you for your score prediction, who you think is going to be man of the match, and who you think our scorers are going to be.
I think it'll be 4-0. Ekitike 2, Isak 1. And then it all depends on who will be giving the ball, but I think one of the goals will be a penalty.
Okay, that's an interesting one.
Yeah, 4-0, 1 pen, and man of the match, Ekitike.
I like that. I like the confidence. Deck, give me your score predictions and give me your man of the match.
Okay, here we go. So,
and who's going to score them as well?
Okay. Right. So, I think Florian Wirtz, he gets off the mark tonight. I think Florian Wirtz could be on for a goal and an assist tonight. I think he's used to the German league. He's got that Bundesliga in him. He's played against Frankfurt many a time, and I think it'd be nice to see Florian Wirtz get off the mark. with that being said, so I'm back in flow weight, and I'd love to see Ekatike get one as well against his former club, just to sort of say, look, we've got Alexander Isak, but don't forget about me, because Ekatike's been fantastic. I'm going to say 2-0 to Liverpool. I really want to see us keep a clean sheet. A clean sheet is massive for me tonight. Mohamedashvili needs a clean sheet for his own confidence, because he's stepping in for the best goalkeeper in the world, and also the centre backs need that as well. So we get this win tonight. A nice European away 2-0. Make a little cherry on top with Flo Waits getting his goal, or goal and assist if we're being cheeky. And I think for man of the match, I think we'll see a fantastic performance from Kanate. I think he's going to step up to the plate tonight, and he's really going to say, look, I am a great centre half, because he is. Ibu Kanate for me is, and if you look at him, he hasn't even been against United. He wasn't his best or nothing, but he wasn't like that bad. So yeah, I'm going to say Ibu Kanate, nice clean sheet for him, and I think he'll put in some good blocks tonight and a really solid defensive performance.
Well, if you think about it as well, against Man United, he was that close to having an assist, a beautiful pass straight through to.
Yeah, I don't think the hate for Kanate's been. He had. I mean, against Crystal Palace, it was woeful, but he hasn't been like it's been a whole team thing. It's not just Kanate.
Everybody needs a whipping boy. And Gakpo gets it, Szoboszlai gets it, Jones gets it, Kanate gets it.
Well, I think you got to agree, Stephen Kanate there. Like, if we have a real solid defensive performance, nice 2-0 away win, just get the job done type of thing. It's not boring. It's not like it's okay, but the defense really needs to step up tonight and show that they're not shit. Because it's Van Dijk and Kanate. It'll do Mohamedashvili a load of good as well with him being in net.
It'll give him an awful lot of confidence in the people that are in front of him. Completely agree with you. For me, I got the two guys here behind me, bagging goals.
Yeah, I've seen it.
That's who I got. Don't pay attention to the fact that I got Wirtz twice. One of them was meant to be Gravenberch, but we'll say no more about it. Just means when I go over to the stadium next in the second half of the season, if I get tickets, hopefully I'll be getting a Gravenberch one from the club shop. So that'll be my splash expense for when I get over there. But for me, I'm going to go 2-0. I'm going to say Ekatike and Wirtz will grab a goal each. I think Wirtz does, as you said, Dec, and announces himself with a bit of a goal and assist. It's the league he knows. It's the league he's familiar with. I could very much see it being the case that, he's used to that and he'll be able to perform better. It's an environment he's familiar with. Mm-hmm. Hilariously similar, Ekatike, he played years there. It's a ground he's very familiar with as well. He should know every blade of grass in there. And also Jeremy Frimpong as well, very familiar with that league, very familiar with the atmosphere and the environment around it too. So there's a lot of players that are there that will be familiar with it. And obviously we have Szoboszlai as well, who used to play in the Bundesliga, that should be familiar with it too, given his couple of years with us. But I'd say 2-0. I'm going to say Florian Wirtz to get off the mark with a goal and an assist. And I'm going to say Hugo Ekatike with a goal. I don't know who's going to assist that goal, but I think it's going to be a Florian Wirtz man of the match, and possibly his sort of statement, I'm here, I'm coming kind of a thing. And I think it's going to really kick on from then. Just a maestro performance from the 10 where he just runs the game. And you know what I would love to see? Remember Thiago's performance against Man United a couple of years ago where he just took the piss out of them. And just that's the kind of performance I want to see from Florian Wirtz tonight. It's asking a lot, but he is fully capable of doing it, and he has done it on multiple occasions before. So I'd love to see a performance like that from Florian Wirtz to announce himself to everybody when Liverpool are in need of a victory, that he takes it by the throat and says, I'm just going to do it. I'll just do it myself.
Yeah,
kind of a thing. That's the way that I look at it. But that is where we are going to leave it today, guys. We've come up to 40 minutes. We're going to end it now about 20 minutes before we get to kick off, so everybody can get settled in, get your cup of tea, get your cup of coffee, get your beer, head down to the pub, and everybody get excited for the build-up of this game. If you haven't already done so, please make sure to like and subscribe, and make sure you have your notifications on for all future streams and videos so that you never miss out. If you are currently watching on X or Twitter at the moment, make sure to jump down into the comments below. You will see a link straight to our YouTube page. Make sure to jump over there, leave a comment, leave a like, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Let us know what other ideas you might have or what other stuff that you'd like us to do. We'd very much appreciate it. But that being said, let's go absolutely smash these Frankfurt-eating little shites. Up the Reds. From myself,
Come on,
Ben,
boys.
Connor, and Deck, thank you so much for watching us on